Hi everyone, it is Mrs. Cafiero. Today we are going to be working in Module 3, Lesson 3. The standard for this lesson is MD 1.3. Today we will demonstrate understanding of area and perimeter formulas by solving multi-step real-world problems. So we're going to take the formulas that we learned on Monday on area and perimeter, and we are going to apply them today to word problems. The materials that you need for today's lesson are pencil, paper, and your math workbook. We are going to actually be working in the math workbook for today's lesson. The paper will just be if you need extra space. So go ahead and pause now to gather your materials. Now that we have our materials, let's go ahead and move on to today's lesson. As I said before, we are going to be working together in the math workbook today. We are going to do numbers 1 and 2 together in the video, and then you will do numbers 3 and 4 on your own. You are going to be on page 13 in your Module 3 workbook. So starting with problem number 1, the problem reads, the rectangular projection screen in the school auditorium is 5 times as long and 5 times as wide as the rectangular screen in the library. The screen in the library is 4 feet long with a perimeter of 14 feet. What is the perimeter of the screen in the auditorium? All right, so for this problem, we've got 2 screens. We've got the library, and we've got the much bigger screen in the auditorium. In the library, it says that it is 4 feet long, and it has a perimeter of 14 feet. For the auditorium, we know that it's 5 times as long and 5 times as wide. So we're going to go ahead and write 5 times long and 5 times wide. So this is just the information that it gives us. This is without solving anything, just putting it in a visual format so we can see what information we have so far. Now, the first thing we're going to have to do is solve for X on the library screen. We need to know how wide it is. So we know that whatever is on the right-hand side of the library screen that says 4 feet mirrors on the left-hand side, so that's also 4 feet. And if we add those two together, we will get a total width, I'll put TW for total width, of 8 feet. So we know what our total width is for this screen. In order to figure out what the length is, we are going to have to subtract from our perimeter. Remember, perimeter is when you add all the sides together. So if we already have 2 of the sides, we can subtract that from the perimeter. So 14 minus 8, that's going to give us 6. But we're not done because we have a top and a bottom. So we've got to take that 6 and divide it by 2. And when we do that, we get 3 feet. So let's erase this X. Let's erase that 4. So our length or width, whichever one you want to call it, our width is 3 feet. So for the library projector screen, we have a length of 4 feet and a width of 3 feet, okay? And a perimeter of 14 feet still. Now for the auditorium screen, it says it's 5 times as big in length and width. So we already put our 5 times here, and now that we know our numbers of length and width for the library screen, we can apply that to the auditorium. So 5 times the length, so 5 times 4 feet, and 5 times the width, which is 5 times 3 feet, and you'll get 15 here and 20 here. 20 feet and 15 feet. So now that's just the length and width of the auditorium screen. The final question asks what the perimeter of the auditorium screen is. So to give myself a little more space, I am going to erase up here. We know that for perimeter, it's length plus width, or 2 times length plus width, whichever one you want to do. For numbers that are a little bit larger, it's probably going to be easier right now to use the first method here, length plus width plus width. So we've got 20 feet on each side, left and right, 15 feet on the top and bottom. So that's 20 plus 15 plus 15. That's 40 plus 30, which is going to give us 70 feet. So the perimeter of the screen in the auditorium is 70 feet. So you can see how this was multiple steps. We took the information they gave us. We had to solve for the width of the library screen. So then we could solve for the length and the width of the auditorium screen. So then we could solve for the perimeter of the auditorium screen. So you're not going to have just one equation and be done. You're going to have multiple equations to get to that final answer. All right, let's look at problem number 2. Problem number 2 states the width of David's rectangular tent is 5 feet. The length is twice the width. David's rectangular air mattress measures 3 feet by 6 feet. If David puts the air mattress in the tent, how many square feet of floor space will be available for the rest of his things? All right, so we have the tent, which is rectangular. Okay, and we know that the width is 5 feet. And the length is twice that because it says twice the width. So 2 times 5 feet, which equals 10 feet. So we've got 5 feet by 10 feet. And it says the air mattress is 3 feet by 6 feet. And they want to know if we put the air mattress inside the tent, how much space will be left? Well, in order to solve for that, we are going to need to figure out what the area is of each of these objects. So I'm going to change my color here. So area, length times width. So for the tent itself, area is 10 times 5. Area is 50 square feet. For the mattress, it's going to be 6 times 3, and that is going to give us 18 square feet. So if we put 18 square feet inside the 50 square feet, if we take up some of this 50 square feet space, they want to know how much space is going to be left. So in order to figure that out, we have to take this area here of the tent and this area here of the mattress and subtract them. Change my color again. So we've got 50 square feet, 18 square feet, and we are going to subtract to know how much space we have left once we put the mattress inside the tent. So we can't do 0 minus 8, so we're going to have to regroup. 10 minus 8 is 2, 4 minus 1 is 3. So the final answer is we will have 32 square feet left for the rest of his things. So you had to solve for the length of the tent. You had to solve for the area of both the tent and the mattress. Then you were able to do your final equation. So again, you're going to have multiple steps in order to get to that final answer. It's not just one step and you're done, okay? What you're going to do now is numbers 3 and 4 on page 14. That's your problem set. Please make sure that you are doing multiple steps and using your units. If you need to, draw it out, just like I did for the numbers 1 and 2. You can see that I drew the rectangles, I labeled everything. It was easier for me to be able to solve the problems once they were drawn out. So do that for yourself if you have to. There is no exit ticket for this lesson, and you do not need to turn in your problem set. This is just practice, okay? If you have any questions, let me know in your private channel.